Okay, wow, this radio app, it's something else. You send us a fascinating piece of code. Looks like someone's been busy building a pretty cool way to listen to online radio.
Yeah, and the cool thing is this isn't just about listening, right? It's about having your own curated collection recorded and ready when you want it.
Exactly, and the choice of Opus format.
That's what's
That
interesting.
caught my eye, too.
It's a sign of someone who appreciates quality.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're calling this one M8AX radio, based on a little signature we found in the code, like a digital fingerprint left by the creator.
I like that.
It's dated November 1st, 2024, so it's pretty new. And from what we can see, it's got a pretty simple UI, real-time recording, support for multiple stations, even lets you tweak the recording quality.
Wow.
But here's what really got me interested. That Opus format. Why would they choose that?
Well, think of Opus as like a chameleon of audio formats.
Okay.
It can adapt to different network conditions, you know? So even if your internet's a bit shaky, you still get great sound.
So it's all about getting crystal clear recordings, but like without needing a huge hard drive.
Exactly. Opus is known for squeezing amazing sound into tiny files, which is perfect for like building a radio library without sacrificing quality.
Makes sense.
And speaking of quality, our coder, M8AX, seems to really get that.
Yeah.
The notes in the script highlight how good Opus is for music and voice.
So they knew what they were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's dive into this code. I'm seeing libraries like O's, time, sys, and date time. It's like the behind-the-scenes crew.
Right? You got OS, which is like the stage manager, handling all the interactions with your operating system.
Okay,
Then there's time, the master clock, keeping everything in sync.
makes sense.
You've also got sys, which is like the communication liaison, making sure the script can talk to the system.
Okay.
And then date time, the record keeper, making sure each recording is time-stamped.
Gotcha. But hold on, I'm seeing something interesting here. The script can work on both Android and Windows.
Oh, that's cool.
This coder was thinking about making this accessible to everyone.
Definitely. That shows they're not just thinking about the code, but about the people who will use it.
I like it.
They're breaking down barriers so everyone can enjoy it.
The structure itself is pretty cool, too.
What do you say?
It's built around a loop that shows you a menu of radio stations.
Oh, like your own personal radio dial.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
And from there, you can listen live or hit record and save it for later.
So they give you choices.
Yeah. M8AX gives you the power to choose how you want to experience it.
I like that.
Now, the recording part is where it gets really interesting because it uses FFmpeg, which is like the ultimate tool for audio and video.
Yeah. FFmpeg is amazing. It can do almost anything.
And M8AX is using it to its full potential. They're not just recording, they're adding custom metadata to the recordings, including their M8AX signature.
Like an artist signing their work.
Exactly. And they're even using audio filters to reduce noise.
Wow, that's attention to detail. They really thought of everything.
But there's something else hidden in this code, like a secret note.
Oh.
It's an extensive comment in the metadata, and it's full of philosophical quotes and links to social media.
That's really interesting.
This is where the code starts to feel personal, like we're getting a glimpse into the creator's mind.
The metadata can tell you a lot about a person.
Right. It's more than just technical specs. It's like a peek into their personality, their interests, their whole worldview.
It's like a window into their soul.
Here's one that stood out to me. It says, Por muchas puertas que demos, siempre tendremos el culo atrás.
What does that mean?
I don't speak Spanish, but I'm told it means no matter how much we spin, our butts will always be behind us.
That's funny, but also kind of wise.
Right. It's like a reminder not to take ourselves too seriously.
I like that.
Then there's this one. El futuro no está establecido. No hay destino. Solo existe el que nosotros hacemos.
And that means?
The future is not set. There is no destiny. There is only what we make.
Wow, that's powerful.
It really is. Coming from someone who just built a radio app, it suggests a belief in shaping your own path.
Yeah, like they're saying we have the power to create our own future.
And of course, no coder would forget a Star Wars reference.
True, Star Wars is a classic.
It says, La fuerza es lo que le da al Jedi su poder. Es un campo de energía creado. Por todas las cosas vivientes nos rodea. Penetra en nosotros y mantiene unida la galaxia.
That's a great quote.
Clearly, M8AX is a fan.
Definitely.
Then there's this one from Blade Runner. Yo he visto cosas que vosotros no creeríais. Atacar naves en llamas más allá de Orión. Y visto rayos sí brillar en la oscuridad cerca de la puerta de Tannhäuser. Todos esos momentos se perderán en el tiempo, como lágrimas en la lluvia. Es hora de morir.
Deep stuff.
I know, right? It's like they're finding connections between these sci-fi worlds and the real world of creation.
It's cool how they've incorporated those themes.
And there's even more. Links to their blog, OpenSea, YouTube channel, and on Cyber. They're really active online.
They're not just a coder, they're a whole content creator.
Exactly. It's amazing how much personality and philosophy they've packed into this radio app.
It really is.
So that's a sneak peek into the mind of M8AX.
It's fascinating.
But we're just getting started.
There's more.
In part 2, we're going to get a bit more technical and explore how this Python script actually works. So stay tuned. Welcome back. So it's amazing how creative M8AX is with this radio app.
Yeah, for sure.
In part 1, we saw those quotes, those thought-provoking quotes, right in the metadata.
Yeah, that was real something.
But let's get a little more technical now.
Sure.
Let's look at the code itself, what makes this Python script work.
Okay, yeah.
What's impressive is how they've used, like, everyday coding tools, but they've combined them so elegantly.
Yeah, it's like, taking simple ingredients and making a gourmet meal.
Exactly. We talked about O's, time, sys, and date time.
Right.
But how do they actually use them here?
Well, think of O's like the conductor of an orchestra,
Oh.
It manages how the script interacts with your computer's operating system. Like, if it needs to clear the screen or access files, O's handles that.
Gotcha. And what about time? Does that keep the music playing on beat?
You could say that. It's all about precision, making sure everything happens at the right time.
Okay.
Like pausing for a specific duration or getting precise timestamps for the recordings.
So it's like the metronome.
Exactly.
And sys. What's that doing in our radio symphony?
Sys is the communication expert.
Oh.
It handles how the script talks to the system it's running on.
Right.
Like, making sure everything is understood.
So it's the interpreter.
Yeah, you could say that.
And finally, we've got date time. Is that the one that carefully labels all the recordings?
Exactly. Datetime keeps track of when each audio snippet was captured.
Oh, okay.
So, when each piece of radio history was recorded.
So it's like a digital librarian.
Yeah, a very organized one.
Okay, so all these libraries are working together
They're a team.
to create this really seamless radio experience.
Exactly.
But let's talk about the heart of the app, the menu.
Yes.
That's where the magic happens, right?
Absolutely. It's like stepping into like a radio shop, but it's curated just for you.
I was really impressed with the variety they have, from pop hits to jazz and electronic music.
Yeah, it shows M8AX has a diverse taste in music.
It's not just a generic radio app.
No, not at all.
It reflects their personality.
It's personal.
And you can choose how you want to experience it, right?
Right, you can listen live.
Yeah.
Or record and build your own archive.
Like capturing those fleeting moments on the radio.
Exactly. Whether it's a song, an interview, or just a familiar voice.
You can save it.
And revisit it whenever you want.
Now, for recording, they use FMPEG.
Yes, the Swiss Army knife.
The Swiss Army knife of multimedia.
It can handle almost any audio or video task.
And M8AX is using it to its full potential.
What did they do?
Well, they're not just recording,
Right.
They're adding their custom metadata tags, including their signature.
Oh, right, like an artist signing their work.
Exactly. And those audio filters we talked about for noise reduction.
They're making sure the recordings are top-notch.
It's like they've thought of everything.
They have.
We've talked about the libraries, the tools, but what about the user experience? What's it actually like to use this app?
Well, imagine you open the app and you see this clean, simple menu.
Okay.
It lists a bunch of radio stations, all chosen by M8AX.
Okay.
You can browse, maybe discover something new,
Right.
and then you choose. Listen live or record.
Sounds easy to use.
It is, even if you're not a tech expert.
That's the beauty of it.
M8AX made it both powerful and easy to use.
We can't forget about that metadata comment.
Oh, yes, that hidden message.
It's like a secret message from the creator.
It gives you a glimpse into their world.
Those quotes we talked about, like the one about our butts always being behind us.
That was a good one.
It's funny, but also kind of deep.
Yeah, it reminds you not to take things too seriously.
And the one about shaping your own destiny.
Oh, that one was powerful.
Like, they believe in the power of individual action.
It's inspiring.
And the sci-fi references, Star Wars, Blade Runner,
Yeah, those were great.
it's like they're connecting those stories to the act of creation.
It's just like they're finding inspiration in those worlds.
And those links to their social media.
Right, they're active online.
They're not just a coder, they're a part of a community.
Exactly.
So we've looked at the technical side, the libraries, the menu, the user experience,
It's a well-rounded project.
but there's one last thing we need to examine. what do M8AX's choices mean? Both the technical and the philosophical ones.
That's a good question.
Join us in part 3 as we try to answer that question and uncover the deeper meaning behind this radio app. All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into M8AX radio. We've really gotten to know the code, the creator.
Yeah, it's been fascinating.
But now I'm thinking about the bigger picture, like what can we learn from this?
Well, for me, it shows what open source is all about, you know? M8AX took these free tools, Python, FFmpeg, all the libraries, and built something totally unique.
Yeah.
It's like taking basic building blocks and creating like a custom masterpiece.
It's a great reminder that you don't need like a fancy setup to innovate.
Exactly.
Just creativity and the willingness to try new things.
And by sharing it, M8AX is inspiring others to do the same.
It's a great cycle.
Yeah, a cycle of collaboration and innovation.
Okay, so let's talk about that elephant, the opus in the room, actually.
Yeah.
Choosing that audio format, that wasn't just a random choice.
No, it tells us something about them.
Their priorities, their values.
Opus is kind of the underdog in the audio world, you know?
Right.
But the sound quality and how efficient it is, it's amazing.
So M8AX wasn't going to compromise on that.
Not at all. It's like they're saying quality matters, even for something simple like radio.
It makes you think maybe Opus is the future.
It could be. As internet speeds get faster and storage gets cheaper, maybe quality becomes the main focus.
And Opus is ready for that.
Absolutely.
But beyond the technical stuff, there's something else I find really interesting.
What's that?
That philosophical layer woven into the code, you know?
Yeah, those quotes, the references.
It's like they want us to think about bigger things while we listen.
They're blending art, philosophy in code.
It's like they're saying, don't just consume, create, you know?
Right.
Don't just listen, think.
It's a powerful message, especially today when everything feels so passive.
So wrapping up this deep dive,
It's been a journey.
we've seen the ingenuity, the personality, the thought behind it all.
Yeah, M8AX gave us a lot to think about.
Now it's your turn, listener. What would your radio